Hello and welcome back to my video on overweight and obesity part 1. In this video, I am going to discuss about the definition of overweight and obesity, the various reasons for obesity, consequences of overweight and obesity, and also the various methods to assess overweight and obesity. Overweight and obesity are defined as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that may impair health. Obesity and overweight are a result of an imbalance between food consumed and physical activity. National data have shown an increase in the calorie consumption of adults and no change in the physical activity pattern. Obesity is a complex issue related to lifestyle, environment, and genes. According to WHO, a person is said to be overweight if he is 10 to 20% above the desirable weight for the height or a BMI of 25 to 29.9. Similarly, a person is said to be obese if he is 20% or more above the desirable weight for height or a BMI of 30 or greater. So, how can we assess a person's body mass index? How can we say whether a person is underweight, overweight, obese, or severely obese? There are various methods to assess the person's nutritional status. First one is by measuring percentage of body fat. Next one is body mass index. Third one is waist hip ratio, and fourth one is waist circumference. Let us now discuss about measuring the body fat percent. According to WHO, a person is said to be fit, that is, a male is said to be fit if he has a fat percent between 11 to 14% and is in acceptable health status if his fat percent is 15 to 17%. Whereas in case of a woman is said to be fit when her fat percent is in the ratio of 16 to 19% and in the acceptable weight ratio when her fat cells are in the range of 20 to 24% of the body composition. What are the methods to measure body fat? There are various methods to measure body fat. Let us discuss the common methods of measuring the body fat. The first one is underwater weighing. This is a primitive and old method. This is not followed now and it is also difficult and it requires skilled people to perform this method. In this method, the entire body is submerged into a tank of water and the water displacement is measured to determine body density as well as body fat percentage. In this picture, you can see a man measuring the body percent fat as well as the body composition by immersing a woman in a tank of water. The next method is bioelectrical impedance. This is the most common method followed these days. This is less expensive and also does not require skilled people. Bioelectrical impedance estimates body fat content by measuring how quickly electrical current is conducted through the body. If the person is a more chubby or if he's fat, it increases against the fat increases resistance against the electric current. So the electric current passes through the body, and if the person is more fat, the resistance to the electric current will be more. So this is a picture of measuring person's body fat percent by means of electrical impedance analyzer, bioelectrical impedance analyzer. Third one is skin fold test. The thickness of folds of skin at various places of the body can be measured with vernier caliper. This is a very simple method. It is inexpensive, does not require skilled personnel, and also this is not an accurate method. Just an approximate measure of the fat can be found out by this method. You can see a health technician using a vernier caliper to fat percent of the her arms. Next one is the DXA method or dual energy X-ray absorptiometry or dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. This is a very recent method. This is used as a golden standard. It measures the body composition, percent fat, as well as the bone density precisely. But this is an expensive method and also requires skilled technicians. So all these we were discussing about the ways by which the body fat can be measured. Next, coming to the distribution of fat. If the fat is distributed uniformly across the body, less harmful. Whereas if the fat is distributed around the abdomen and around the trunk, it is of some risks to the person. The person may be more prone to diabetes, hypertension, etc. So, central obesity, excess fat on the abdomen and around the trunk. Central obesity represents a greater risk to health than fat elsewhere on the body. Coming to body mass index. Body mass is sometimes controversial as it does not actually measure a person's person body fat. Measures the BMI according to the person's height and weight. The composition of the fat in a particular place may vary in another place. This cannot be measured by body mass index, and this is a drawback for the body mass index. It just displays what a healthy weight range would be for a person's height. A quartilate index, that is, we use this quartilate index for measuring the body mass index. It is so easy to determine, which makes it so widespread in use. Mathematically, it is figured out by the equation on the right. Most people, however, just use a BMI chart, which are widely used published. Usually, we dietitians, we calculate the BMI by using Quatlet index. And so BMI is equal to weight by height squared, and the units are kg by meter square. So the international BMI category for adult is discussed here. So when the BMI is less than 14.9, a person is said to be starved or is malnourished. When the BMI is between 15 to 18.4, is underweight. The normal BMI for a person is from 18.5 to 22.9. A person comes under a category of overweight when his BMI is between 23 to 29.9. A person is said to be obese when his BMI is greater than 30, and he is said to be morbidly obese or severely obese when his BMI is greater than 40. Now coming to the third parameter, waist hip ratio. Waist hip ratio helps in determining central obesity, that is fat that is deposited in the central abdomen. So, what your waist to hip ratio means? So, for a woman, the normal waist hip ratio should be 0.80 or below. And if the person is at moderate, if the person is at moderate risk, her measurements should be between 0.81 to 0.85. And if a woman waist hip ratio is above 0.85, he is at high risk. So, when a person is at low risk, her body shape, that is the accumulation of fat, will be the shape of pear. Whereas, when he is moderate, when she is moderate risk, her body at fat accumulation, it will be in the shape of avocado. And if he is at high risk, the fat accumulation will be in the shape of apple. That is, apple form means upper body obesity, whereas pear shape means lower body obesity. And in case of men, a person is said to be at low risk when his waist hip ratio is below 0.95. Is at moderate risk when his waist hip ratio is between 0.9 to 1, and is said to be at high risk when his waist hip ratio is above 1. So now let us discuss about the android and gynoid form of obesity. In this picture, we can see the apple-shaped obesity in this man. That is, upper body fat is more common in man than in woman and is closely associated with heart disease, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, and some types of cancer. Here we can see the gynoid form of obesity in women. Here, the lower body fat is more common in women than in women and is not usually associated with any chronic disease. Next, coming to the causes or the risk factors for obesity. There are various factors. Let us discuss about some important factors. The first cause is energy imbalance. Energy imbalances can cause overweight and obesity. An energy imbalance means that your energy intake is not equal to your energy output. That is, you're consuming more energy than your energy expenditure. So, overweight and obesity develop over time when you take in more calories than you use, or when energy in is more than your energy out. This type of energy imbalance causes your body to store fat, and this results in overweight, and in course of time it results in obesity. Some medical conditions, that is some genetic conditions and endocrine disorders, can cause overweight or obesity. Let us see some genetic syndromes that cause overweight and obesity. They are Prader-Willi syndrome, Bardet-Biedl syndrome, Alstrom syndrome, and Cohen syndrome. All these syndromes, they occur as soon as the baby is born. That is, this is a type of inborn error, and it is a this type of syndrome starts when the baby is born. And next, coming to the endocrine disorders. Because of the endocrine system produces hormones that help maintain energy balances in the body, the following endocrine disorders or tumors affect the endocrine system and can cause overweight and obesity. First one is hypothyroidism. People with this condition have low levels of thyroid hormone, and these low levels of hormone are associated with decreased metabolism. As a result, the person puts on weight. Next is Cushing's syndrome. People with this condition, they have high levels of glucocorticoids such as cortisol in the blood. High cortisol level makes the body feel like it is under chronic stress. As a result, people have an increased appetite and the body will store more fat. Next, some type of tumors. Some tumors can cause severe obesity because the tumors develop near parts of the brain that control hunger. The fourth cause is medications. Some medications like antipsychotics, antidepressants, anti-epileptics, and antihyperglycemics can cause weight gain and lead to overweight and obesity. Several parts of your body, such as stomach, intestine, pancreas, and fatty tissue, use hormones to control how your brain decides. If you're hungry or full, some of these hormones are insulin, leptin, glucagon like peptide, and ghrelin. The next cause is race and ethnicity. Overweight and obesity is highly prevalent in some racial and ethnic minority groups. Rate of obesity in American adults are highest, followed by Hispanics and whites. This is true for men or women, while Asian men and women have the lowest rates of unhealthy BMIs. They may have high amounts of unhealthy fat in the abdomen. Gender in United States, obesity is more common in women than in men. A person's sex may also affect the way the body stores fat. For example, women tend to store less unhealthy fat in the abdomen than men do. Overweight and obesity is also common in women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. The next reason for obesity is age. Childhood obesity remains a serious problem in the United States, and some populations are more at risk for childhood obesity than others. The risk of unhealthy weight gain increases as you age. Adults who have a healthy BMI often start to gain weight in young adulthood and continue to gain weight until 60 to 65 years old, when they tend to start losing weight. So these are some of the reasons for a person to put on weight, to become overweight, and gradually becoming obese. And most important risk factor for overweight and obesity is unhealthy lifestyle habits, lack of physical activity, unhealthy eating patterns, not enough sleep, and high amounts of stress can increase your risk of overweight and obesity. Lack of physical activity due to high amounts of TV, computer, video game, or other screen usage has been associated with high body mass index. Healthy lifestyle changes such as being physically active and reducing screen time can help you aim for a healthy weight. Next is unhealthy eating behavior. Some unhealthy eating behaviors can increase your risk for overweight and obesity. Eating more calories than you use, eating too much saturated and trans fat, eating too foods high in added sugar are some of the reasons that help in a person to become overweight. Next one is not enough sleep. Many studies have seen a high BMI in people who do not get enough sleep. Some studies have seen a relationship between sleep and the way our bodies use nutrients for energy and how lack of sleep can affect hormones that control hunger urges. Next is high amount of stress. Acute stress and chronic stress affect the brain and trigger the production of hormones such as cortisol that control our energy balance and hunger urges. Acute stress can trigger hormone changes that make you not want to eat. If the stress becomes chronic, hormone changes can make you eat more and store more fat. So all this time we were discussing about the various risk factors of obesity and overweight. The next topic is consequences of obesity or the adverse effect of overweight and obesity. As a result of overweight and obesity, what happens inside our body? There is an imbalance in the sex hormone secretion, there is an increased secretion of free fatty acid, and there is also mechanical stress to the body as it carries excess amount of weight. As a result, due to the imbalance in sex hormones, hormone dependent tumors they develop in various parts of the body. When there is an increased free fatty acid, metabolic syndrome or X syndrome, it develops in the body due to insulin resistance, hypertension, dyslipidemia. All these uh, factors, they lead to type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Next, coming to the mechanical stress, since the body is not is feeling stressful to carry its own weight, it results in sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, low back pain, and shortness of breath, which results in disability and early mortality. Overweight and obesity are the major risk factors for a number of chronic diseases, including cardiovascular diseases such as heart disease, and stroke, which are the leading causes of death worldwide. Being overweight can also lead to diabetes and its associated conditions, including blindness, limb amputations, and a need for dialysis. Carrying excess weight can lead to musculoskeletal disorders, including osteoarthritis. Obesity is also associated with some cancers, including endometrial, breast, ovarian, prostate, liver, gallbladder, kidney, and colon. The risk of these non communicable diseases increases even when a person is only slightly overweight and grows more serious as the body mass index climbs. Obesity in childhood is associated with a wide range of serious health complications and an increased risk of premature onset of related illness. Studies have found that without intervention, children and adolescents with obesity will likely continue to be obese into adulthood. Thanks for watching.